apologies, I can't join today. Jim said I should tell you I've been whisked away by a client on a super important marketing mission, but actually I'm just bobbing around on a boat in the middle of nowhere with no Wi-Fi, so apologies for that. Video recording though instead, and as per usual, you can find all the recordings of the BBBC marketing slots on alexryanuk.com/news if you want to catch up, and please head to the Marketing 101 website if you want to join my mailing list, and that's marketing101.co.uk with a little dash in the middle there. So I'd like to start with just a quick micro tip, super quick one today. Did you know that the local press will pretty much publish anything, literally anything at all? You might not get into the printed publication, but they're happy to put virtually anything vaguely interesting on their website. For example, I managed to get into the Argus in Brighton just for having a celebrity on my podcast. That was it, and they weren't even that famous. Most people will tell themselves that they have nothing newsworthy to say, but the actual barrier is just your time to think and probably a little bit of laziness. So stop, think, apply your brain to what story you have to tell, and then just write that press release or get a team member to do it. Send it to local press, and I believe that 9 times out of 10 they will publish it. So there we go. Let's get proactive on that. On to the main event today. I'm going to give you a bit of advice on creating customer personas. Now, this might well be something you have heard of or have done before, but I've got a great twist on it, a really good bit of advice. But before that, a customer persona is a profile that you create to better talk about and understand your main customer segments. Here's an interesting image here, which I will blow up for you, which you can see. It allows you to quickly identify types of customers when talking about developing new product or services. So when you're making that new product or talking about the services you give, or when you're working on your online or offline customer journey, you can identify those types of customers there and give them all the journey that they want to make. The ones that's going to be kind of most appropriate for them. Here's a couple of rather cheesy looking examples of what a profile might end up looking like. We've got Elaine here, looking lovely. And then here we've got Julia, who seems just ecstatic, to be honest, to be part of this presentation. Calm down, Julia. So I don't want to go into too much depth about how to create your customer persona. It's pretty obvious stuff, and you can find guidelines online. Just have a quick Google for creating a customer persona or customer personas. But basically, once you have your persona, this is what you do with it to try and understand your customers better. You want to empathize with them. So what does Julia think and feel when she's in your shop? What does she want to see? What kind of questions might she ask? Or if you're doing it for product or service development, what kind of product or service might Julia want in 6 months' time when we're ready to start delivering a new tranche of product? So that can actually be quite hard to do. Kind of putting yourself in the shoes and mindset of a person that doesn't exist and has never existed can be really, really difficult. So here comes the top tip for this session, which is that rather than using made-up personas, try to use a well-known personality instead when thinking about these customer types, your key customer types. And we're talking about maybe 5 tops, I think, is a good amount for a project, but start with 1 or 2 or 3. So important credit for this tip goes to Stephen Spencer and Associates, who are customer experience experts. I interviewed them on a podcast last week, and they talked about this. So credit to them for this. So when I say a known personality, think about either celebrities or characters from books or films or TV, etc. Maybe our excitable Julie actually becomes Samantha from Sex in the City, or maybe your customer is a bit of a Dr. Brian Cox or a June Whitfield, or maybe the kids shopping in your shop are a young Ron and Hermione. The point is that these characters already exist, so it becomes much easier to empathize with them rather than rather anonymous Julie that we've just created, pulled out of thin air. So you know how this celebrity or this character is going to behave. You know what they want to experience and what you might want to say to them. And it also becomes much quicker to discuss and share your customer personas, whether with other members of staff or maybe with a branding or marketing agency. You don't need to spend forever explaining and introducing excitable Julia when you can just say, yeah, she's like Phoebe from Friends. So obviously I mentioned actually Phoebe in that last tip, but one final tip here: when thinking about your choice of famous character, I recommend avoiding the kind of stupidly rich or famously weird. Those two traits are hard to get past when you're empathizing, especially if you combine the two. You want to be able to empathize, and the stupidly rich or the stupidly weird, famously weird, are going to behave very strangely. So your customer probably isn't like them, realistically. Even if you run a store for boxing supplies, then it's still going to be very hard to predict how Mike Tyson might behave when he's visiting. So there you have it. I hope you found that useful, or at the very least interesting. Don't forget to reach out and say hi. If you like, you can find me at alexryanuk.com/connect. Find all my projects there. And again, apologies for not being able to attend live today. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Toodle pip.